Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Realistic CEO podcast on the Stix edition. Today I'm here with Jordan Torres. How you doing today, Jordan?
What's going on? I'm doing good.
Thank you.
Excited to be here.
Thanks for going on.
For sure.
Before we get started, I want you guys to know with on the Stix, it's about up and coming and new entrepreneurs that are kind of want to share their journey and how their journey is going so far, basically. And so today, Jordan, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started?
Yeah. So my name is Jordan. I'm 21 years old, and I'm currently a active real estate agent or realtor because I do pay my fees. But yes, I am a realtor. Just started my journey. I'm about 3 years in, so I'm definitely excited to see where I could take it and make my dreams a reality.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into real estate?
Yeah, for sure. So, growing up, once you hit like high school, around that time, you start thinking about like what you possibly want to do later in life. And not everybody has it figured out.
Yeah.
But I would love, I always wanted it to run my own business. That was the biggest thing to me. Be my own boss. I was never the type of person to clock in or anything like that. Need be, life happens, and I never took it out of the equation. But I definitely always wanted to be my own boss, and real estate was that was my opening. I seen the opening and I kind of just took it. But that was pretty much how I got started into it. It was kind of a huge coincidence. I didn't think real estate was going to be that thing until it happened. Once it did, I figured out that this is definitely my calling, if you will. But I loved it. I definitely wanted to do more of it, and just kind of took it as far as I can.
Did you have any mentors or anybody that inspired you to become a real estate agent?
1,000,000%. I had my broker, actually, the head of my broker, Marvin Council. That was he played a huge part in my real estate career and where I am today. I actually interned with him when I was 17 years old. Just kind of followed his footsteps, and I got to kind of see the behind the scenes of the real estate world before actually getting into it, just to be sure. You can never be too sure, but just to make sure it was something that I wanted to take as far as I can. So I started at 17 with him, and ever since then, that internship, I've been with him ever since.
So for the people that want to become real estate agents, how do you get started?
So it really comes down to you and your worth ethic for sure. There's a big test at the beginning that a lot of people think that, once you take that test, it's kind of like money spawns as soon as you pass the test. That test is going to be your biggest. How do I say it? It's a paper test, but it's your biggest test in the real estate world. Like, it's really gonna make or break you. It's a pretty tough test. But if you can, it's your first step. If you could pass that test, no problem. And don't let it, if you fail, don't let it, bring you down, and never look at real estate again. If you proceed to keep going and you take it as it is, it'll definitely, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, but it'll definitely take you far. Once I passed that test, a lot of people think, like I said, the money spawns, but at the end of the day, once you pass that test, you still have to come up with the leads yourself. You still have to find people that want to buy houses. You don't just get it. You have to go out, get it, market yourself. It's like any other business. We talk about business a lot, entrepreneurship. Marketing plays a huge part in real estate. You got to show your face. How is anybody supposed to know you sell real estate if you don't tell anybody? But yeah, it all comes together. definitely starting at a young age has helped me out so much. You know, I'm able to learn the ins and outs so young, so that when I do become, you know, a bit older, I do with my eyes closed. That's the key. It's came with trials and tribulations, just like anything else. But as long as you keep your mind, you know, eyes on the prize, it comes with it.
So starting at 18,
Yeah.
did anybody have any doubts of being like, I don't want to work with an 18-year-old. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Did anybody say that to you?
So that actually has happened, I want to say a couple times. Not too much, just because, you know, it's all about how you articulate yourself and how you present yourself. But yeah, I've had clients, you know, they're hesitant. You know, they're like, I don't know if I want to put, you know, they're putting a lot of trust in me. You know, these people are buying their forever homes, their first homes, you know what I mean? It's a lot of money as well being involved. And, you know, you're not buying anything cheap. You know, when you're buying a couple $100,000 house, you want somebody that knows what they're doing. As well as, you know, there's a lot of behind the scene things. You know, you have your lenders, you have, you know, negotiation tactics, things like that. So just like anybody would, there's some hesitation. You know, I'm giving my full trust to this 18-year-old kid. Is it the right choice? And to be honest with you, there's nothing that I can do except show them. So I thank my mentor a lot, because with that hesitation, I always stated to my clients, he's behind me, but I'm in front of you. So if there's anything that I can't do, or anything, not necessarily can't do, but something that maybe I just need a little bit more understanding on, or something that requires a little bit more deeper thinking, I definitely reach out to him for sure. But yeah, I've had that hesitation in clients, and, you know, it all comes down to just how you speak to them. You know, I assure them so much. You know, I update them. I let them know, you know, I'm here, I'm doing it. And if there is at any part where you have to question like what I'm doing, my brokers are behind me, and, you know, we'll get it done.
So you talked about your mentor being there.
Yeah.
So how important is it to have a mentor, especially starting early on in your career?
It's huge. I'd say I've had about 3 mentors in my life in total. And they've played a huge part in who I am and what I do today. My first mentor being my business teacher in Putnam. I went to Putnam Vocational, kind of like you. I was in business, same class, everything. Yeah. Actually, the year that I got there was the first year that they brought it back, because it was out of Putnam for a little bit. But my shop teacher, Sharon Nieves, she was one of my first mentors. She was huge. It was our first year that it was back, so there was a lot of things that people would say about business shop, but when I mean she turned it around, she turned it around. She always said, you know, you can do whatever you want. Similar to your plan and the LBW, you can do whatever you want as long as you just stick to your plan and learn the in and outs of every aspect of it. You know, the more in detail that you get, the better. Because the more you can understand what you're doing, it just becomes a lot easier. So she played a huge part in that, and I'm forever thankful for her. My second mentor was definitely, his name is Brian Laurel. He owns BG Windleton down in the south end of Springfield. I worked with him. What's crazy is I worked with him for about half a year, and he had, you know, kind of a good impact on my life just because he was a business owner. You know, he owns the shop, huge shop, known around Springfield for sure. One of the top 10 shops in Springfield. And, you know, he got all that by just kind of, he takes care of his business like his baby.
Yeah.
He works it, he runs it, he doesn't have a secretary, he runs every aspect of the business. And it kind of connects to my first mentor, Sharon. You know, she always said, learn the in and outs of your business because it just becomes easier. So he kind of put that in perspective. I seen it actively work. He knows the in and outs. He works the in and outs. He does the books. He tints cars actively. Like he's actively in it. So it was cool to work for him, even though it was such a small period of time. It was really cool to work for him, for sure.
So, for somebody that wants to start, how is it expensive? Like, how do you get to the point where you can afford
Yeah,
it?
so for real estate, that was kind of a plus for it too. You don't need too much to start up. You don't need a business. You don't need too many materials. When you're paying for things like real estate, it comes with actively getting into it. So, the course, the actual real estate course, pretty decent pricing. It is pretty on the high side. You're looking at around $500, $300 to $500 for the course. After that, then you have your test, which goes up in price when you retake it if you don't pass the first time. And then you have, huge thing is marketing. Marketing. Real estate, you got to tell everybody you sell real estate. As soon as you get that, it's like, hey guys, I sell real estate. So anything like Facebook is huge. Facebook ads, promoting yourself on social media is huge. Business cards are huge. Anything like that. I know it's pretty cliche, but all those things really, really work. As soon as you have those things, it comes. A lot of people treat real estate like a side business, but if you put your all into it, kind of like how I have, it comes. You put in those couple of dollars in there, get your startup going, promote yourself, pay for those Facebook ads. Don't be scared to pay for any type of ads or marketing. The more that you're in people's faces, the better, especially in real estate.
Okay.
You definitely want to show off your knowledge a little bit as well. So things like that.
How important is it to network with the people, like what people that are already inside of the business?
Yeah, so like I said, even just interning and being with my broker, I was able to meet so many different people. Not every real estate agent is the same. Every real estate agent is completely different, and I've learned that early. It comes with it. So when I meet people in real estate, like my broker and other agents under him, and even on our team, or even other agents in different offices, it's just cool to see how every single one of them do business differently, and it works for them. Everybody has their niche, and as soon as it's so cool to see them find what works for them, and they just take off with it. It's cool. It's cool to see. I love seeing other real estate agents succeed. It just makes me want to go even harder. What can I find that can work for me? When will I find that? You know what I mean? But it's huge. You definitely want to just pay attention to what others are doing. Because at a young age like myself, I love picking people, picking their brains. I can see 5 different real estate agents, and to me, I'm just looking for what works for them, and I'll take a little bit of it and mix it into my own crazy thing. So it's huge. It's huge. Networking is huge. Business-wise, to get into the business-wise, it's huge. You want to know real estate agents. You want deals. You have a buyer that comes in and is looking for a specific house. So you want to be able to call up other agents, even if they're in other offices. You want to be able to call them up and say, "Hey, I have this buyer. Do you have this house? This is what I'm looking for." And you can make a deal right there without even.
How are you able to build your clientele to the point where you're able to say that you've been in the game a while and you're able to use that as a way to sell, to get more clients?
For sure. So that's everybody's hardest part when you're getting into the business, is building that lead. Building your leads and getting that base is huge. Everybody, back to what I said earlier, everybody says you get your license and they think it's instant. It's not. Thanks to my mentor, we were able to talk a little bit more about leads. He's huge on leads, huge on leads. Cold calling, brother, that's the biggest thing. Cold calling. Hit those phones, write those letters, show your face, and it'll come. I've had my spurts. I'm young, and sometimes my age does show. I have those spurts where I just don't want to call nobody. I don't want to sit there at my desk all day and just ring. But at the end of the day, it's okay to have those days, but you can't have them too much. You just have to call people. Absentee calls are huge for listings. So a lot of people think real estate is one big thing. So there's listing agents and then there's buying agents. You can be both, you can be one, whichever one you'd like. if you want to do buyers, you know, you want to reach out to your sphere. Your sphere is huge. Reach out to everyone you know. Reach out to family. You know, family wouldn't even think about buying a house until they see that you became a real estate agent. Now you just sparked interest in them, and that can possibly be a lead. Now they're telling their friends. Now they're telling their coworkers. Now they're telling, you know, everybody. So that just kind of feeds itself. With listing, it's a little different. It can come from referral, but listings, you're on those absentee calls. You know, people that own homes but they don't live in it, they might want to sell. So you're sitting there cold calling. You have no idea who these people are. You're just giving them a call saying, hey, you know, thinking about selling your house, I can help you out. Just kind of showing off your skills, you know, send them some CMAs. But I would say calling is the biggest thing.
So for your, in the future, like what's like your big goal that you want to achieve with real estate?
Yeah, so the biggest goal for me in real estate is to own real estate. You know, as much real estate as I can, build my portfolio for sure. You know, like I said, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It's always just been my biggest thing. So being able to have real estate as a foundation to open up other businesses, you know, I'll take it as far as I possibly can. You know, there's no ceiling. Real estate, I definitely plan on being one of the biggest real estate agents in this area. You know what I mean? And that comes with work, that comes with time, that comes with, you know, taking care of what I gotta take care of. But I just love the whole business of it, and I just hope I can take it as far as I can.
Have you ever thought about kind of starting like a whole thing where you have like multiple people working for you, so that as a way you're kind of like getting profit from them as well?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, to start a brokerage, you know, it takes a lot. You have to be a leader, because you're really the head of multiple other real estate agents. It's not, you know, it's not easy. I've seen the day in the life of my broker, and it comes with so much leadership. It's crazy. So I definitely do plan on doing that as soon as I feel like I'm at that.
What's stopping you right now from becoming a broker?
Yeah, what's crazy is I can. Once you have 3 years of real estate, you can go for your brokerage license. So what's stopping me right now is kind of just myself. You know, I know I'm not 100%, you know, and I'm only 21, and I'm sure there's other 21-year-olds out there that can lead, you know, way better than I can. But if I'm gonna lead, you know, a group of 10 people, I want to be sure I know every aspect of the game. I want to be sure that whenever they come to me with any kind of question, any kind of problem, I can help. You know, even just teaching, you know, I want to be able to teach what I do. So as soon as I'm, you know, ready and able, and I've got all the jitters out and everything like that, I will 1,000% take on to that. But to answer your question, it's myself.
So for what your goal of, you want to own a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Is there a certain type of real estate that you want to own, or just real estate in general?
Real estate in general. You know, just build the portfolio. You know, assets, things like that. Take it into different directions. You know, real estate can go multiple ways. You can do commercial. You can do residential. You know, it's all comes down to what preference. But honestly, in the world we live in now, any real estate is good real estate. So as soon as, you know, I can get my hands on any of that, I'll be there.
So right now you do mainly home buyers, right?
Yep, residential.
Yeah. So with that, are you working on maybe like helping people buy commercial real estate as well? Yeah,
yep. So I've you know, I like to take it one step at a time. So if I can perfect the craft of residential first, and then hop into commercial, it's a 1,000,000,000,000% possibility. I've dabbled in a little bit of commercial. You know, I've asked some questions. I've asked some other commercial real estate agents, you know, some opinions, and you know what they do and what a day in the life looks like for that, because it is completely different.
It is.
You know, it's bigger numbers. It's more in tune and detail, and what happens is it becomes a little less personal. Residential, you're very personal with your client. They're forever home. You're working with them for a month straight to get the deal closed. and you're going through some hard times with them. You know, if it's not an easy process to buy a house, and you know it's a long 30 days. So just kind of being there for your clients and making sure everything's okay. But yeah, residential is kind of my main thing right now.
What has been your favorite moment so far being a real estate agent?
So my favorite moments so far are just seeing people that would have never thought that they would own a home in their lifetime. Mm-hmm. Seeing them close on a home, grab the keys, walk into their house that they own, is a different type of feeling. That's what keeps me going in the business. Honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons why I do what I do. You know, just being able to get those, you know, they're first generation homeowners or whatever the case may be. It's just so fulfilling to me to be able to help them through that, because it's not an easy process. Mm-hmm. You know, and most people they think it's out of their realm. They think, you know, home ownership will never be able to come to them, or they'll never be able to own a home. And just to be able to do that, it's priceless.
So
yeah, that's my favorite moments. Like, I know that there's not one, because every closing is my favorite moment.
What has been your biggest lesson so far that you learned as a real estate agent?
So the biggest lesson I learned so far is, honestly, I've learned a lot about people. Everybody's so different. Mm-hmm. You know, at the beginning, sometimes I would take it as like, why don't you understand? Why doesn't someone understand, you know, what I'm telling them, or why don't they understand something about this transaction like the last person did, or whatever the case may be? You really have to take everybody for who they are. You know, everybody's different. Everybody takes things completely different. So you just kind of learn to adapt. Adaption is the big key, because anything could change at any moment in a real estate deal. So as long as you're able to adapt, come up with the solution, it's huge. So I think learning how to turn it on, turn it off, adapt, compromise, you know, come up problem solving, those are definitely lessons I've learned for sure.
Have you ever had to like kind of like talk to a client, say, hey, it's not gonna work out. I can't work with you?
Honestly, no, because I look at it as I just started this business. Mm-hmm. So who am I to turn away anyone that's willing to work with me, or any business at all? There's have been some rough clients. You know, not everybody kind of understands the process or takes information the same. Mm-hmm. So there has been some tough clients. But at the end of the day, you just take it as it comes, and like I said, adapt. Just become a person that they're able to understand, and make it any way I can make it a little easier for them is the better. So I've never really turned anyone away. I'll take on any challenge. I love a good challenge. So, and if I can take on a crazy client and get them closed, the feeling at the end of that is priceless. It's amazing.
What is some advice that you would give to somebody that has been wanting to become a real estate agent?
Yeah, just do it. Be prepared. The big rumor around real estate is that it's easy, and to be honest with you, it's not. A lot of people think they can just hop into it, make some quick money. It's far from the case. Far from the case. I would just say do it if you love it. You know what I mean? Make sure you love it first, because don't get into it and then get mad when something happens, or, you know, just make sure you love the industry, because it's a tough industry and it could toss you around in so many directions. Just be prepared for it. Love it. As long as you love it, it'll pay you back.
So you talked about your favorite moments are you being able to close. Yeah. What's been your biggest accomplishment so far? Only being 3 years in real estate. Yeah.
So my biggest accomplishment so far is I've closed more deals than I would have thought. You know, coming in, I already had the expectation set to me in my internship. So coming in, I wasn't expecting a lot. But as I got better and kept going, it kind of started coming to me. And I just took it as it is. So once it started coming to me, I closed a lot more deals than I thought. And I've actually sold $1 million in real estate last year. It's not a lot compared to others, but to me, it's huge.
That's a lot for especially you're young too. So it's not like you're in the game with 20 plus years of experience.
Yeah, it was huge. Winning that, not winning it, but accomplishing that was one of the greatest moments ever. That was my second year. Last year was my second year, and I had $1 million. I sold $1 million worth of real estate.
That's really good.
At my age, and I think I proved some of my clients and a couple of other people wrong. A lot of people think, oh, he can't do it, he's young, you know what I mean? So being able to prove that I can, and it's possible no matter what age, as long as you just put your mind on it, it can get done. So that was huge.
So you talked about closing. What's the secret to being able to close deals as a real estate agent?
Yeah, so negotiation. Negotiation is key, and you need a good team. If the client, the attorney, the lender, and myself are all working, and the system is flush, it becomes so easy. You'll be surprised. It doesn't happen all the time, unfortunately, but when it does all line up and everybody's working on what they got to work on, it becomes so easy.
So why is it important to have a good team around you as a real estate agent?
Yeah, there's a lot of different moving parts. You have the lender, which is the client's mortgage. You have the attorney, which is representing them on the legal side, contracts and all that fun stuff. And then you have me negotiating the actual real estate stuff. So, price points, things that are coming with the home, repairs that the home needs, things like that. And then of course the buyer, the buyer's the buyer. They got to do their part. They got to get in all their paperwork. They got to, take care of deposits, down payments, closing costs, things like that. So as long as everybody's on point and everything lines up, a closing can be super, super smooth. It makes it a lot easier for sure.
What has been your fastest and longest closing?
So my fastest closing was 2 weeks, when that comes with the real estate. But when you have, like a cash buyer, and then you have a great, no lender involved because it's a cash buyer, great attorney on board, and, I'm working some of the best of my ability, it can close like that. It's, those are the best. If I could have those all the time, any agent would want those. But the longest closing I had it took 3 months to close. And that just comes down to situations that are out of everybody's control. Numbers change, things change. Every situation is different for each house. Every house has their own thing going on. So, not necessarily, I'm not trying to say it's necessarily falls on anybody, because some things are out of everybody's control. Like the 3 month one, there was nothing me, the lender, the attorney, the buyer, any of us could do. So it was definitely a stressful one though. It took a long time, but we got it done, still closed. And those, honestly, I would say the ones that take longer feel a lot better at the end, just because it took so long. It's like huge pressure off your shoulders, and you're like, man, we really got it done. Because in real estate, it could very well easily fall apart.
So being a real estate agent, and you talked about how it varies.
Yeah.
How are you able to make sure that you're able to still pay your bills, even though like you have some that are 3 months versus some that are 2 months?
Yeah, so that comes with just what's that called? What's the word I'm looking for? Leads. You want to have a good amount of leads. So if you have, let's say I have like 4 buyers. Let's say I have 4 buyers. One might close in a month, one might close in 2. So you just really gotta take it as it comes. Budgeting is huge. When you're commission based, budgeting is huge, because like you said, your next check can't be for the next 3 months. So you just want to make sure you know what you got going on, make sure your finances are all in place, make sure you understand what's happening. And of course, background things. You have background things. I do real estate, and I plan on opening other businesses to run in the background for that reason. You know what I mean? You want to have multiple incomes. You know, a lot of people work their regular jobs and then do real estate on the side. But what they don't understand is they'll never be able to break that ceiling because that job is kind of holding them back. They can't go to as many showings. They can't take the amount of hours that I do calling. You know what I mean? But it just comes down to your own personal finance, your budgeting, and you just want to be sure that you know what you got going on in your life, so you're prepared for things like that.
You talked about you wanted to own other businesses. What are some businesses that you have in mind?
Yeah, so other businesses I'm looking into, I'm extremely into cars. Me and my father are extremely into cars. Shout out to him as well. He's a huge backbone in my life. The mindset I have, you know, comes directly from him. So we plan on starting up a transportation business, something like that. So, you know, you know, they have those companies that distribute things. Yeah. Sometimes those big 18-wheelers don't get all the stuff that they need delivered. They might need, you know, a small product shipped somewhere pretty quickly. We'll take care of things like that. The main goal, besides real estate in my life, is a car dealership. The second I own a car dealership, I kind of made it. You know what I mean? That's the big prize at the end after real estate, for sure.
So the last question, well, actually I got two more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the one is in my book, The Real Estate CEO.
Yeah.
Tony talks about the LBW, the long, lonely, boring work. So can you tell us about the LBW that you had to do to get to where you are today?
For sure. So the long, boring work is that test, the real estate test. No one sees when you're studying for that test. I was in the books crazy. I was memorizing hundreds of flashcards. And then once you get to that point, you know, getting the leads and all that, the long, boring work is sitting there at your desk for, you know, I can't complain because most people work, you know, people were out here working 8 hours a shift, but sitting there for 8 hours calling people you don't know and getting cursed out on the phone and, you know, get off my phone, how'd you get my number, things like that. It can be a little mentally, you know, hard. But those long days of every day on those phones, calling nonstop, it's pretty tough. But once you do those things, and because you have to, it comes with it. That's where I am today, you know, because of putting in that work, making sure deals stay put together. That's a huge thing. People don't see the late night offers you're putting in. People don't see the late night talks with lenders, attorneys, with the other side, the seller side, whether you're working on each side, because, you know, you have your buy side, your sell side. It's two different teams, but we have to work together. We have the common goal is to get this deal closed. So those late night calls, those frustrating deals that you wish could have just stood together and they just fell apart by a mistake you made or you know, by something that was out of your control. It's tough. But and it can be super degrading. Once you have a deal that doesn't close, it's tough. It's tough on your mental because you're putting in so much work and you're staying up late. You're doing on the phones, your paperwork. You're talking to this lender. You're talking to this attorney. Your buyer's venting to you, so you know you have their mental issues on top of it. You know, so it's tough. It's a whole bunch of different moving parts, and you know, it comes with it. It comes with it. Without it, I wouldn't be who I am today. So. I appreciate all the long, boring work for sure.
The last question that I want to ask you is, what's one fun fact about yourself that nobody really knows about?
I love video games. I know I sucked right now. I know you guys can see the gameplay, but I did once upon a time be really, really good at 2K. I played all the old ones. I played from 2K16 to 2K20, dabbled in a little bit of 22, but I love video games. Huge video game head. Call of Duty, I've been playing them since they came out. I've had every system you could think of, Nintendo DS, Game Boy. I'm a huge video game player. I love video games. That's kind of what keeps me sane, honestly. You know, after, it's my age showing. I know my 30-year-old clients are gonna be like, oh, my real estate agent's playing video games, man, I don't know. But after a long day or a stressful time or a deal, and I'm just able to just hop on the game with, you know, my friends and things like that. It just kind of soothes me, takes all the stress away, and I'm able to start the next day fresh.
What's your favorite game of all time?
Favorite game of all time? Dang. I played a lot of Call of Duty, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to have to give it to, what game did I have so much fun on? Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was my favorite video game of all time. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I played that game a lot. GTA a lot too, but Black Ops 3, that's my favorite.
Thank you for coming on today.
Of course, I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
You know, I try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. It's one of my first ones, so I'm excited. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You did good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for watching this episode of the Realistic CEO podcast on the Stix. And I appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving me. So I want to let you guys know the way that you guys can help me even more is by going onto my website, Realistic CEO. You could purchase one of these books, one of my books, Realistic. I am a CEO, Realistic CEO. With that, it helps me because not only am I knowing that you guys are loving what I do, it also allows me to upgrade my equipment with the podcast and give you guys better quality content as well. Another thing that you guys can do to support is go on the website and buy my merch, which is you can buy one of these shirts that I wear in my podcast. You guys can wear every single gear that you guys see on my podcast, you guys can wear as well. The last thing that you guys can do to help me is by donating. And with donating, it helps me get my mission across of that you can make your dreams come true no matter how old you are. And with that being said, when you donate, the donations go towards schools. And with the donations, I go in and I read my book to the kids in the classrooms, and they're able to meet the author, and they can see that no dream is too big if you're willing to put the work in. Thank you guys for watching this episode. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Check, a 1 or 2, I'm going in, is that a L?